What would actually defeat Batman if we placed him under ordinary human biology? The usual answers are Joker, Bane, or another criminal with a very elaborate plan involving Gotham. But a more realistic answer may be sleep deprivation. Not because Batman would collapse after one late night, but because the version we usually see in films seems to treat sleep as something that can always be postponed. During the day, Bruce Wayne has to maintain the public life of a billionaire. He attends meetings, makes business decisions, appears at events, and somehow tries to look relaxed, while hiding the fact that he may have spent the previous night being thrown through a wall. At night, he investigates crimes, trains, patrols Gotham, repairs equipment, and fights people who rarely respect normal working hours. That leaves us with a fairly basic question. When does he sleep? The films usually avoid answering this directly. We can assume Bruce takes naps between meetings, sleeps briefly after patrol, or follows a carefully controlled schedule. His money, privacy, medical support, and technology would certainly make that easier. But they cannot create more hours in the day. At first, sleeping less might even seem useful. Every hour outside bed becomes another hour for surveillance, training, or detective work. Caffeine can increase alertness, adrenaline can temporarily suppress fatigue, and determination can keep someone moving when they would normally stop. The problem is that feeling awake is not the same as being recovered. When sleep is repeatedly shortened, its effects begin to accumulate. Bruce might get through several short nights without noticing any obvious problem. Yet his attention, reaction time, and judgment could gradually worsen even while he believes he is adapting. That matters because Batman's greatest weapon is not his armor. It is his brain. He has to notice small details, remember faces, connect evidence, monitor several threats, control his emotions, and make accurate decisions within seconds. Sleep loss can weaken attention, memory, reaction time, emotional control, and the ability to judge risk. For Bruce Wayne, that might mean approving a bad investment that costs Wayne Enterprises billions. For Batman, it might mean losing track of a suspect during a rooftop chase. There is another complication. Tired people are not always good at recognizing how impaired they have become. Bruce could still feel focused because he is accustomed to operating under pressure, while the quality of his decisions slowly declines. For the world's greatest detective, misreading his own condition would be a fairly serious blind spot. His body would face the same problem. Batman spends his nights sprinting, climbing, jumping, grappling, and absorbing impacts that would put most people in a hospital. Armor can reduce the damage, but it cannot prevent every bruise, strained muscle, stressed joint, or possible concussion. Sleep is part of how the body repairs tissue, regulates pain, and restores the nervous system after physical stress. Without enough recovery, small injuries begin changing how Bruce moves. A painful shoulder weakens a strike, a damaged knee changes a landing, fatigue reduces coordination, making another injury more likely. He does not need one spectacular injury to end his career. He only needs enough smaller problems to remove his margin for error. None of this disappears when the sun comes up. Bruce still has meetings to attend and decisions to make. Removing the cowl does not reset his nervous system, so exhaustion from the night follows him into the day. Batman exhausts Bruce, while Bruce's public responsibilities prevent Batman from recovering. Eventually, the two sides of his life begin interfering with each other. Bruce would probably try to solve this the same way he solves many of his other problems, with technology. But technology could only help so much. Better armor could absorb more force. Medical equipment could identify injuries earlier, while automation could organize evidence and monitor parts of Gotham. Carefully timed naps and caffeine might also help Bruce perform through a difficult night. They still would not replace sleep. Stimulants can reduce the feeling of fatigue, but they do not instantly repair tissue or restore every part of mental performance. Used too late, caffeine could also interfere with the next sleep period, allowing Bruce to borrow energy while making repayment slightly more inconvenient. The realistic solution would be to reduce the amount of work Bruce handles alone. Someone like Lucius Fox could take over more of Wayne Enterprises, while Alfred supports planning, logistics, and medical care. Although relying on one elderly butler to support an entire crime-fighting operation is still questionable workforce planning. More importantly, Batman would eventually need the Bat family. Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, and the others could divide patrols, investigations, technology, and emergency response. They could cover different areas, rotate responsibilities, and allow injured or exhausted members to recover. That version of Batman may look less like a solitary legend, but it would be far more sustainable. The Batman most likely to survive is not the one who refuses to rest. It is the one who builds a system that can continue protecting Gotham while he sleeps. So, could sleep deprivation defeat Batman? If Bruce continues trying to handle both lives alone, probably yes. Not through one dramatic collapse, but through the gradual loss of focus, judgment, and physical recovery. So what do you think? Could Bruce create a schedule that makes a solo Batman sustainable? Or would he eventually need the Bat family? Let us know what you think in the comments. If there's another what-if question you'd like us to explore, leave that below too. It might just become our next video. To keep up with more videos like this, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to What If Explained TV, where we put impossible questions under the microscope of science and reality. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.